I'm Holly Woodward Ballard, and I'm a professor of anatomy and paleohistology at Oklahoma State University Center for Health Sciences in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Research we published in PeerJ is on Tyrannosaurus rex bone histology, and my team looked at the bone tissue microstructure of fossilized Tyrannosaurus rex leg bones. And we took a look at the microstructure to determine growth rate and age of individual Tyrannosaurus rex specimens. In total, we looked at 17 individuals ranging from little juveniles all the way up to skeletally mature, fully mature adult specimens. And we wanted to do this research to figure out how Tyrannosaurus rex was growing, to get some ideas about its life history, and to, with a larger sample set, actually just explore T-Rex growth in a lot more detail than has ever been done before. The significant findings of our paper include that we learned that with this larger sample size, we found that Tyrannosaurus rex took about 40 to 45 years to get to its adult size of about 8 tons. This is about 15 years later than was previously predicted from previous studies. And instead of accelerating to adult size very quickly, as previous growth curves has suggested, we found that Tyrannosaurus rex actually grew at a more gradual, slow rate, so that individuals spent more time at what you would consider a subadult to near adult size, rather than shooting up to adult size in a few years. We also found that Tyrannosaurus rex growth was incredibly plastic or flexible. In order to age a dinosaur and look at growth rates, you look at the growth rings in the bone tissue. And if the growth rings are spread far apart, that means there was a lot of growth from one year to the next. And if they're spaced close together, that means that there wasn't much growth. And in T-Rex, growth was very erratic, very all over the place. So some years they grew a lot, other years they grew very little. And so this suggests that Tyrannosaurus rex was being flexible in the way it was growing from one year to another, so that if, for example, it might not have had much to eat, there wasn't much in the way of resources, it just didn't grow as much one year. But if it had a lot to eat the next year, it just grew a lot. We also found that there were some unusual growth rings that we've never seen before using a particular kind of light called cross-polarized light. And these growth rings are unusual because we found that they are statistically significant rather than just being random. And these growth rings need to be explored in more detail in other animals. We found them in Allosaurus as well, so we know it's just not a T-Rex thing. So there's some unusual, interesting questions now that our research has shed some light on. These unusual growth rings, they are a signal. We assume that they are also annual because that's sort of the default assumption, but we need to continue to test and explore what these growth rings might mean, which means finding them in more specimens, more species, and most importantly, finding them in modern living species so we can figure out exactly what they mean. My co-author, Nathan Meervold, ran some new statistical tests, and with our data set, which is the most complete, the largest Tyrannosaurus rex data set that's ever been used to model Tyrannosaurus growth, we developed a new statistical analysis that takes the subjectivity out of growth curve analyses. And so we were able to produce or model Tyrannosaurus rex growth more mathematically with higher statistical significance and very narrow confidence bands. And none of this has been done before. So we produced a very accurate Tyrannosaurus rex growth model based on the data that's available so far. And, with more sampling over time, of course, the model will change, but it's only going to get better.